On the same weekend, Western Australians knocked back daylight saving in a record fourth referendum. Political history was also being made with a safe Labor seat falling to the Greens in the lower house of Western Australia's Parliament. Fremantle has been held for Labor, or by Labor, for the past 85 years. But on Saturday, the ALP received a thorough drubbing in a by-election, with the Greens candidate taking 44% of the primary vote. The result may also have implications for Labor federally, with the Greens saying they'll now target inner-city Melbourne and Sydney seats, where their vote has also been on the rise. Hamish Fitzsimmons reports from Perth.
It was the Greens versus the Labor candidate in their heartland seat of Fremantle. It's known as the Jewel for the Labor Party.
For 85 years it's been a bastion of the ALP. Now the West Australian seat of Fremantle will go down in history as only the second electorate to elect a Greens MP to the state lower house, and the first in WA. Labor's vote hemorrhaged, with the Greens grabbing 44% of the primary. And it's a result with national implications, according to political analyst Peter Van Onselen.
The Green Party is either making the seats like Melbourne Ports or Sydney or possibly Fremantle marginal Green seats, or at least marginal seats outside the normal two-party process.
Mr. Speaker, I've got a resignation for you.
The by-election was triggered by the early retirement of former Labor leader and minister Jim McGuinty, who held Fremantle for 19 years. In last year's state election, Mr McGuinty nearly lost to the Greens. So when a by-election was called in April, the Greens say they knew there was a mood for change.
Jim McGuinty only got along across that line with that very clear Greens preference, but he ignored, or Labor ignored, the Green mandate in that vote.
Labor's candidate was long-time Fremantle Mayor Peter Taliaferri, who the party expected to maintain the ALP's unbroken grip on the seat. Mr Taliaferri was unavailable today, but the result has prompted some Labor heavyweights, such as former Premier Peter Dowding, to question the party's pre-selection process.
Peter Taliaferri is a nice bloke, worked hard as the Mayor of Fremantle, but has a lot of enemies, and there are a lot of people in Fremantle who would have voted Labor but wouldn't vote for Taliaferri. And I think the Labor Party simply didn't understand the local electorate.
The Fremantle by-election has raised the obvious questions about the leadership of Labor's Eric Ripper. Ironically, he believes the absence of a Liberal candidate cost the ALP dearly.
It was not possible for Labor to outweigh the combined effect of the Liberal votes and the Green votes. We had a circumstance where strong Liberal voters decided to punish Labor by going to the Greens in the absence of a Liberal candidate.
As the nation's newest Greens MP gets used to her workplace, Adele Carles has a different take on the reasons for her victory.
The Labor Party has moved so far to the right. They've almost become, part of that. They've metamorphed into that Liberal heartland area.
There's a message here for Canberra with elections coming up next year. Don't treat the populace as environmental mugs.
The growing Green vote in inner-city federal seats is going to be difficult for Labor to manage without taking big risks, according to Peter Van Onselen.
If they respond to what's happened with Green voting in the inner city, then they risk losing mainstream voters and possibly government. If they don't respond, they put themselves in a situation where they could lose high-profile candidates in inner-city electorates, people like Lindsay Tanner in Melbourne or Tanya Plibersek even in Sydney.
When the Green primary vote gets up over 20%, the Greens become serious contenders to win seats. So in the next federal election, we're looking at Melbourne and Sydney, the inner heartland area with a very high Green vote. And if Labor don't watch it, those seats will go Green. Go Green!
In the light of the Greens' comprehensive win in Fremantle, some observers say the traditional political divide is a thing of the past. In many of the inner-city seats, the ALP has never had to fight for until now.
The Labor Party's never had to worry about the Liberal Party in these seats, but they do now have to worry about the Greens.